Whether you lack motivation due to the holiday season or you just find yourself stuck in some kind of rut, there are plenty of ways for you to be finding motivation and staying motivated. And I have 10 tips for you to help with that. Hey guys, Eric here, and I have some tips for you on how you can be staying motivated throughout the day. The first tip that I have for you on helping you to stay motivated is to have a passion for the work that you're doing. I'm sure that if you're struggling with motivation, you find that a lot of the tasks that you're doing can be very draining, whether it's working at an office that just doesn't really drive your passion, or just work in general, or there's a variety of other things that you're doing that you're finding it very draining and very demanding of your time and your energy. And I find that when you take the time to be finding your passion and something that you're really passionate about that drives you forward, it's very easy to find the energy to do that sort of stuff. A perfect example of this is my whole writing business. When I focused more on my passion for writing, I found it very easy for me to be writing on a regular basis for clients, for my blog, anything. I have a huge passion for that stuff, and it's very different compared to some of the experiences that I had working with my previous employers, where I came back home after a day at work and I was absolutely drained. I had no motivation to do anything. My second tip is to have some goals and start working towards those things. The reason why I stand behind goals is because goals provide a purpose for us to be moving forward. And if you don't have that purpose, well, you're just coasting through life and you're not really doing anything at all with your life. So it's important to be setting those goals and to have a system revolving around these goals that can help you with achieving them. As far as how you want to be presenting those goals, I find that writing them all out on a piece of paper to be very helpful, because it reminds you of the things that you want to be doing. Some people might even think about vision boards as well, and I find that vision boards can be very helpful. However, you have to be very careful about them for a couple of reasons that I'll be talking about later. My third tip for staying motivated is to think positively. It's kind of a corny thing to have in the self-improvement world, where it's just like, just think positive and everything will just be alright. Well, as far as my own version of positivity, it's a form of reality and optimism. So still being positive about the things, but acknowledging that there are other elements at play. As far as thinking in an optimistic sort of way, it's important to be looking at the various elements and the things that are absorbing your energy and starting to think of them in a different way. For example, you could be looking at your own work in a different light. If you don't really like your job, you have a variety of reasons. And I would encourage you to take the time to look at some of those reasons and ask yourself, are they actually justified? Or are there some ways that I can be putting a more positive spin to this and to my overall outlook? And this tip is very helpful because I know that a lot of people see things in a negative way, and a lot of people spend so much time on that their energy just gets drained, and they're not really motivated to do anything or to change those sort of situations. And it's very depressing. Kind of on the same note as thinking positively is being around other people who lift you up or inspire you. It doesn't have to be necessarily role models, but having an environment where you are motivated to do things and other people are expecting you to be motivated and to challenge you are very helpful in staying motivated, because they're doing the exact same thing as you. They're going out there trying to achieve their goals and trying to achieve their dreams, and they're doing other activities. And this power of association can help with staying motivated as well. On the other hand, if you're spending time around people who aren't very motivated, who are always dragging you down and things like that, it's very difficult to break out of those habits and to adopt new habits and adopt new changes. The fifth tip that I have for you is to set up a reward system. As far as this reward system goes, it's entirely based on your own opinion, on what you think you deserve as a reward. However, it's important to be cautious about what sort of rewards that you're going to be giving yourself. You can always consider taking some breaks at various times, rewarding yourself through other means like doing something that you really enjoy doing, whether it's like doing a Sudoku puzzle or just going out for a walk or stretching a little bit. Things like that can really break up your day and help you with staying motivated as well. And it also gives you just something that you're looking forward to. I like to do that specifically when you're doing tasks that you really don't like to do. The sixth tip that I have for you is to not use money as your motivator. I mentioned earlier that it's important to have a sort of purpose to drive yourself forward. And I know that a lot of people will immediately think, oh, I'm just going to use money as a form of motivation, for myself, and that's really what's going to help me with moving forward. And let me tell you, money as a motivator does not work at all. As far as my writing business goes, I spent the first 2 years of my writing business not getting anywhere at all. And part of that reason is because I used money as a form of motivator. Like I was struggling financially, and I saw writing as a way for me to be making a lot of money. The same sort of thing with accounting. When I studied for accounting, like part of that motivation was because, well, accountants get paid a lot of money. And I didn't really consider the whole nature of the job and whether that worked well with whether I would actually enjoy doing that work in the first place. So using money as a form of motivation is not very good. And the same goes for motivational content as well. While motivational content is inspiring and drives you forward, it's very short term. It's all external motivation that's coming into you. And what I find that's more helpful is to be focusing more on your internal motivators. And that's kind of like what I've been hinting at over the past several tips, is to be looking inside and looking at yourself and saying, what can I do to be motivating myself to do the task, rather than looking for other motivators outside of me and around me. The seventh tip is to visualize your results. And what I mean by that is to visualize, well, your results, the end process, but also to visualize your actions leading up to that. Visualizing all of those things is going to be very helpful because it makes those sorts of actions more realistic to you, as opposed to just saying like, oh yeah, I just want to work out, I want to go to the gym, I want to stay healthy, or I want to start a business or something. Actually visualizing every single step, how you imagine it would go, can help with staying motivated. Because even though visualization doesn't always equal reality, at the very least you're still visualizing yourself getting out and doing those sorts of things, and that's more progress than people who are just saying whatever they want to be saying. The eighth tip that I have for you is to break your goals down into small steps or small segments. I find this tip to be very helpful because a lot of people, while they get a lot of motivation from setting these really high targets, most times that doesn't work because a lot of people feel overwhelmed by that. So actually break your tasks down into smaller steps. It makes it more manageable, because how we all function is through daily habits. How I got back into creating videos is because I told myself, hey, focus on making 1 or 2 videos every single week and leave it at that. Don't focus on like trying to don't be vague about like, hey, I want to be creating a successful YouTube channel. Just focus more on the habits that you want to be building. Say, hey, I want to be making a couple of videos, or I want to be going out for a walk once in a while. The idea is to start off with a very small step-by-step process, rather than just putting down a massive goal and hoping that you're going to stay motivated enough to do that, because progress oftentimes is very slow. It takes a really long time for you to get to the position you want to be in life and in terms of your goals as well. So breaking it into small steps helps a lot. The 9th tip that I have for you is to focus on what you can control. A lot of people focus on things that they can't control, like the weather or like just things that are happening out in the world. It's just things that are out of their control, and they use that as means of draining their motivation and not staying motivated enough. And how you can get around that is instead to control how you react and how you process that information and how you use that information. Instead, focus on how you're feeling about doing certain tasks and managing all of those things. Again, focusing on your internal systems and controlling those sorts of ways to stay motivated. And the final tip that I have for you is to have a plan and to take action on that. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to do anything if you don't have some sort of plan or something concrete in place to help you with moving forward. I find putting together like a to-do list or putting together a vision board or like anything at all can really help with putting together a direction for you to go forward and also to achieve whatever it is that you want to be achieving. Having those sorts of systems in place makes it very clear about what you want to be doing and how you want to be moving forward. So those are my tips for staying motivated, but of course I know that there are plenty of other ways that you can be staying motivated. And I would like to hear about what sort of strategies or tips that you have down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already.